So I would like, on behalf of the organizing committee, on behalf of Lubka and John, I would like to welcome you to the 16th International Conference on Complement Therapeutics. This has been such an amazing period since 2001, when the first meeting happened in Santorini. You can see the poster, the flyer, just on the corner, on the left-hand side. And it's been 24 years of exciting developments. So we're celebrating today almost a quarter of a century of Aegean conferences on complement therapeutics. This is the longest running conference series dedicated to complement structure, function, pathobiology, clinical therapeutics, and so on and so forth. And I would like to just point your attention to how much the therapeutics conference series has been a true catalyst for complement drug discovery over the years. Just to point your attention that in 2001, in the beautiful island of Santorini, when the first workshop on complement therapeutics, then called Workshop on Complement-Associated Diseases, Animal Models and Therapeutics, convened, we only had C1INH available in the clinic as a broad spectrum protease inhibitor. You would not say that this is a perfectly complement-specific drug. So with one available drug in the clinic, we went on over the next 24 years, having Aegean conferences and discussing these great developments in the complement therapeutics meeting, and now we're convening in 2021 with 10 approved drugs and drug formulations, and we're still counting more drugs in the pipeline which are very close to approval at this stage. As you all very well know, John Lambris has been the founder of Aegean conferences, the instigator of this project and this mission over the years. He's been the heart and the soul of this conference. A few weeks ago, Lubka and I became aware that John is actually turning 70 this year. So just a few days ago, before the conference, he celebrated his 70th anniversary, his 70th birthday anniversary. So together with Lubka, we are delighted and honored to dedicate the 16th International Conference on Complement Therapeutics to Professor John Lambris, professor at the University of Pennsylvania, to honor and celebrate, together with the Aegean community, his groundbreaking contributions to the complement field, and especially his pioneering work and transformative work that has led to the first clinical approval of C3-targeted complement therapeutics of the compstatin family. So I'm sure we'll be listening to many great developments in the next few days, blazing hot developments in line with the scorching heat wave which is hitting Greece at the moment. But I would like to start saying that John was born 70 years ago in the beautiful village of Rhodavygi on the shoulders of Xirovouni, a beautiful mountain which is overlooking the river Arachthos. This is the beautiful river Arachthos, and across the river you can imagine seeing the great landscape offered by the mountain range of Jumerka. This is a region in Epirus. I would invite everyone to visit. John has been very, very generous and offering his friendship to many, many colleagues attending the community and the conferences. And here you can see the young John Lambris exercising his first scientific skills in setting up the spit for the panigiri, the local festivities called panigiri. He's putting the meat on the spit, and he's turning the spit in a traditional way, learning after his father, who was a great butcher and celebrator of these panigiri. And I would like to move on by charting a little bit the main stations in the academic path of Professor Lambris, the main faculty appointments, starting from his university degree. He graduated from the University of Patras, and then he went on to change different stations across the continent and across different countries. The first station being the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he became a very young assistant professor at the age of only 25 years old. He was there in the Department of Medicine at the University of North Carolina. In 1981, he became the young assistant professor. Then he became a visiting professor at the Johannes Gutenberg University at Mainz in Germany. And he moved on to become a member of an investigator at the Research Institute of Scripps Clinic in La Jolla, where he stayed for about 3 years. And then he moved on he moved across continents. He crossed the Atlantic and went to Switzerland, where he became a full member of the Basel Institute for Immunology and the director of the protein chemistry laboratory at Basel. And then he moved on back across the Atlantic, all the way to Philadelphia in the University of Pennsylvania, where he became an associate professor in 1990. He rose the academic ranks to full professor very, very soon. And in between, He also was recognized with an adjunct professorship at the Department of Biology at San Diego State University for several years. And since 2007 and up to present time, he is the Dr. Ralph and Sally Weaver Endowed Professor of Research Medicine at the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. I would like to give you a blast from the past, some pictures from John's research life in different stations of his academic path. You can see young John Lambris here, featuring with quite an interesting appearance, a very rebellious appearance in his young age, very close to the lab, a great mentor in different stations in his life, giving speeches, going rafting with his crew at the University of Pennsylvania. I remember these rafting trips in the Poconos, reading papers with his lab members, discussing the findings and brainstorming, his favorite activity. And of course, I would like to give you a few facts and figures. John has published over 520 or more papers in peer-reviewed journals. He has an index factor of more than 138, several citations over the 70,000. He's consistently listed in the Clarivate highly cited research list since 2018. He features more than 200 patents and patent applications on complement inhibitors for therapeutic purposes. And he was the first elected president of the International Complement Society. He was instrumental in setting up the first website for the Complement Society back then, and he was really a pioneering figure in setting up the Complement Society. He has been awarded honorary professorships from several universities, Ulm University, the Democritus University of Thrace. He has received honorary doctorates recognizing his contributions to the complement field and beyond from Uppsala University and Kalmar University. He's, of course, the founder and executive director of the board of Aegean Conferences. He's the founder of a company called Amindus Pharmaceuticals, a spin-off company from the University of Pennsylvania, which develops third and fourth generation complement inhibitors. He's, of course, and I will come back to this later, the discoverer of the compstatin platform of C3 binding peptides that has been recently approved and clinically approved in different indications. And he spearheaded the first anti-C5 monoclonal antibody that actually built the basis for the development of eculizumab and Sarrias, the blockbuster drug that everybody knows. He's received, of course, for his research more than 50 million in research funding from different agencies. And I would like to show you just a snapshot from two recent celebrations, one very recent conferment of an honorary professorship at the Democritus University of Thrace back in September 2023. We were honored to be there and celebrate with John this milestone event. And of course, another honorary doctorate from Uppsala University. Rodanthe was very generous to provide this nice photograph from the conferment ceremony back in 2013. You can see John wearing the hat of wisdom here on the left-hand side. And I will switch gears, and I will not try to convince you that John has been the pioneering figure in revealing the inner workings of the complement system, and especially the protein called C3. He has been studying the structure and function of C3 for many, many years. He has made groundbreaking discoveries in delineating the molecular and structural determinants of the interaction of C3 with different ligands, complement receptors, regulators, viral immunoevasion proteins. But I would like to focus on a few paradigms that he has shifted over the years, and he has helped us reshape our perception of the complement field and how complement biology operates in different systems, and how these functions have led to new non-canonical, or as we say, unconventional roles of complement, and how these functions can help us expand the spectrum of clinical indications that can be targeted by complement therapeutics. I would use this slide to illustrate that John has made fundamental discoveries in the evolution of the complement system, showing in teleost fish, together with Oriol Sunyer, back then a graduate student in his lab, doing his PhD in John's lab, showing that in teleost fishes there are multiple isoforms of the complement protein, C3, C5, factor B, and that this immune diversity at the level of complement system actually compensates for the lack of a very developed adaptive immune response. So this was a fundamental discovery that I would like to highlight, showing John's contribution to the evolution and phylogeny of the complement system. I will switch showing you this story that actually revealed how complement activation can promote tissue regeneration in different biological contexts. And I would start by highlighting the seminal work that John did with the late Professor Panagiotis Tsonis at the University of Dayton, where they were the first to show that complement activation products can actually promote limb regeneration in urodil amphibians. These groundbreaking discoveries were followed up by studies in mammalian liver regeneration in models of partial hepatectomy, where John and his colleagues were able to show that indeed complement contributes to liver regeneration. Of course, a groundbreaking discovery that was led by John's lab in collaboration with George Koukos was published back in 2008 in the journal Nature in Immunology, where he shifted another paradigm whereby complement not only contributes to the cytolytic activity of monoclonal antibodies in cancer immunotherapy, but John and George were able to show for the first time that complement activation in the tumor stroma and the tumor vasculature can actually promote an immunosuppressive environment that actually helps the tumor to grow faster. And this actually shifted the great paradigm, and many, many studies from different groups have contributed to our understanding of how complement can be targeted in the context of cancer immunotherapy. Of course, I could not leave outside from this picture of paradigm shifts his seminal contribution to the studies by the Ben Barres group and Beth Stevens in Harvard, showing back then with John in a paper in Cell in 2007 that complement actually gets activated in the local environment of the CNS and contributes to the so-called developmental synaptic pruning that happens in the central nervous system. And not only that, but they were able to show together with Ben and Beth that aberrant reactivation of the complement axis in contribution with microglial activation can lead to excessive synapse pruning, which leads to neurological deficits and cognitive impairment in neurological diseases. So that was another major paradigm shift that John actually made a huge contribution to. Of course, his favorite field, the field that he has devoted most of his scientific lifetime, has been the development of complement therapeutics. John has been instrumental in changing this landscape over the last few years. Since 2021, the clinical arsenal has featured more than 10 different drugs and drug formulations targeting different targets of the system, the cascade. And John has made fundamental contributions to change this landscape and offer better solutions to patients in different diseases. I will just highlight how he spearheaded the development of complement therapeutics at the level of C5, when in 1988 he published with Brigitte Stockinger and his colleague from Basel and Fry, the first generation of the first monoclonal antibody to C5. They were able to characterize the antibody, and this paper actually spearheaded the development of Sarrias. How the same antibody was used in a therapeutic proof of concept model, showing that you can actually ameliorate disease in a collagen-induced arthritis model. And this actually helped Alexion develop the antibody and market it as Sarrias in the next few years and have it approved for PNH. Of course, his brainchild and his most devoted scientific effort has been the development of C3-based complement inhibitors. He has developed the compstatin family of peptidic C3 targeted inhibitors, starting back in 1996 with the first publication of the first member of the family, the original compstatin, together with Arvind Sahu, now director of the Regional Center for Biotechnology in India. He was his postdoctoral fellow in the lab at that time. They published together with Arvind the first structure of the compstatin molecule. They characterized the molecule. They started mapping its interaction with the C3 together with Athena Soulika, another colleague at the time in the lab. And of course, we all know that compstatins have moved all the way from preclinical development through a long and rich journey of scientific discovery and accomplishments all the way to the clinic in 2 different indications. The discovery was published back in 1996, and 25 years later, the second generation compstatin analog that was licensed from the University of Pennsylvania and through John's discovery back in 2006 to Potentia, then switching to Apellis, was developed all the way for geographic atrophy, and this approval happened just a year ago. And in the meantime, the same second generation analog, compstatin analog, was developed and finally approved for the rare hematological disorder PNH. So John's compstatin-based inhibitors were finally approved for two different indications after several years of intensive cross-disciplinary research with a huge network of international collaborators. Switching from his main scientific contributions and groundbreaking discoveries, I would like to highlight John's fundamental contribution to promoting scientific exchange and knowledge dissemination. Of course, he founded, as we said, the Aegean conferences in 1999. The mission of the Aegean conferences has organized more than 160 conferences in Greece over the last 25 years, attracting more than 15,000 leading researchers. The Aegean conferences have supported participation of young investigators with travel awards amounting to an amount greater than $1 million right now, until to this date. And of course, John, for his contribution to the dissemination of science and the advancement of science in Greece, has received recently the Academy of Athens Award from the class of sciences in 2015. Of course, what epitomizes John Lambris' long-lasting and unquenchable zest for science and discovery? As you can realize from this picture, it's dancing and dancing and dancing. His fantastic, fearful dancing skills. And these dancing skills have been instrumental in initiating new members into the complement field. Of course, you have to pay attention to what I'm saying. Your dancing skills will get you invited to the next conference, most likely. These dancing skills have helped in forging new collaborations and renewing old ones, and keeping John and helping him retain a vibrant circle of life and friends. And as you can see in this photograph, I'm not going to say more details, long collaborations have been forged and developed through the dancing on these floors of these Aegean meetings. The essence and the purpose of dancing is eloquently epitomized by Zorba the Greek, by Nikos Kazantzakis, who, through this book, gave John the full meaning of what he has been doing up to this point, living life to the fullest. I would like to close by thanking John for always leading the way uphill, letting us gaze the horizons, open new horizons, and share with him new investigations, new insights, and new discoveries. Thank you, John. On behalf of the community, on behalf of Lubka and everyone else in this room, I would like to thank you for being a passionate, out-of-the-box thinker, for being a fearful dogma challenger, mythbuster and leading innovator, for having perseverance and resourcefulness and showing us that perseverance and resourcefulness can lead us to new horizons and new discoveries all the way. Thank you for being immensely generous to the entire community, the complement community and the Aegean community, and for helping young investigators to flourish and thrive through the generous exchange of reagents. And I would like to finish by sharing this quote from our old predecessor, Aristotle, saying, I would like to share it in Greek. Thank you, John, for being kalon anthropinu viu katoptron, for being the mirror of a very good life, for being a role model for young investigators and scientists. And I would like to finish by highlighting another aspect of John's life, the way he bridges the life sciences with humanities, by sharing these old quotes from Greek philosophers on key papers from his lab, and making a way to finding for these old quotes a very high altmetric score up to our days. Thank you very much, and I would like to welcome you all to the conference. I would like to thank the chairpersons for their indulgence and patience. I would like to play a very short video. It's a very short recorded video message from colleagues and Aegean board members that couldn't make it to the conference this year, and I would like to share a few minutes, a message to John Lambris on the occasion of his birthday and the celebration.
In the 12th century, Middle Age, a monk said that we are dwarfs sitting on the shoulders of giants. Well, John is a giant. He's a giant in terms of science. I've been sitting on his shoulders for a while. I learned a lot, and he's a giant in terms of friendship. So let me quote Democritus. Zen ukaxios otomide eis esti Christos philos. It is not worth living life, he who has not had a good friend. And I have the privilege, we have the privilege of having not a good friend, a fantastic friend, John Lambris. Yamas.
Hello, John, friends and family. Many congratulations on your 70th birthday. It turned out also 20 years ago that we met for the first time on the Hawaii meeting. It's been really a turning point in my career for that. It was Mo Daha who introduced me to you, to the absolute C3 expert at Hawaii. I really well remember that moment. Also that how we actually got to meet you, and you were actually discussing a paper with one of your old Greek colleagues, and you were discussing then the paper we had in Science published just half a year ago. So it was a really remarkable moment, a nice moment, a great way to be introduced, great timing. So, but also always with you. It's been a great timing. So it's also thanks to your hospitality. The well-known, your hospitality is well-known. Generosity. It's quickly I became the member of your of the Lambris scientific family. It's been great to be part of that. And it's also already since already early on, immediately that summer, I already joined the meeting on Crete. Also a great moment in my life where I present the C3C structure, the structure without any function, but still a great moment when you also were generous enough to actually enlist help for me from Bo and Christina to work on C3, and it's well, the rest is all history, of course, but it's so fantastic moments also that after that we worked on many papers together with your lab on C3b and C3b with factor H and many other things, many other papers. It's been a fantastic time, great together, great scientific success, and I thank you very much for this 20 years of great fun. So I'm sure, and I'm sure there's a great party ongoing this evening to celebrate your 70th birthday, John. And I really regret that I can't be there, and it's that my health is not good enough to actually travel anymore. So, but it's wish, yeah, I wish I was there to celebrate. And well, even though I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I really would love to drink a glass and have the and celebrate this with you. And so have a great time, everybody. Enjoy the moment, and it's been a great time together, John. I haven't been present for the whole 70 years. Hardly anybody has been there. I don't know if it's still family of your older than that, but it's been great fun to be at least part of your life for the last 20 years. Great thanks for that. It's been great fun, and cheers, have fun. Bye-bye.
Hi, John. I'd like to take this opportunity, along with your other friends and colleagues, to wish you a happy 70th birthday. On this occasion, I also like to acknowledge your seminal contributions in the field of complement and in the creation of Aegean conferences for the dissemination of scientific knowledge. John, as your friend and colleague for over 40 years, again, happy birthday and many more. Γιάννη, χρόνια πολλά να τα εκατοστήσεις.
John, congratulations, 70 years. When people say back in the day, they have no idea. Back in the early days of Aegean conferences, when I proposed two ideas, one conventional and the other on the front side of cutting edge, you chose the more provocative. I knew then that I had not only found a home for these conferences, but also a partner in crime. Now this year will be the 15th conference in this series for the original systems, biology, and medicine idea, and for the 5th for its spin-off conference. All of these are a reflection of your eagerness to learn and your courage to explore the limits. Our work together on conferences also led to deep family friendships, including attending weddings for our children, from Philadelphia to Crete to Tokyo. John, my respect and gratitude are boundless. Our friendship is the best. I wish you more exciting work, good travels with Rodante in Greece and around the world, time with your kids and grandkids, many dances and festivals in your village, and long discussions about work and life over good meals and wine at a taverna in a quiet harbor somewhere in Greece. John, happy birthday, my friend.
Hi, John. Congratulations, and I really wish I was there to celebrate this momentous anniversary with you. It's really hard to believe that you're already, by the time you get this message, 70 years old. Still, that's really young in American terms, isn't it? When your presidents are in their 80s, I guess you've got a long time to go before you need to think about slowing down or anything like that. I'll be celebrating quietly here with a cup of coffee while you celebrate with a wine and great food. And I'm, again, sad I'm not there to raise a glass with you, but another time. Bye, John.
really like to share with you a video message from over 30 years ago. It spans a period of time over 30 years ago with all members of the Lambris lab in the University of Pennsylvania, people that started with John about 30 years ago. And I hope that it will reflect what I consider the essence and the importance of having a good and inspiring mentor when you make your first early steps in your scientific journey and your career path. So this is for John and Rodanthi. Thank you.
All right, I think recording has started. Welcome to everybody for John's 70th birthday celebration. I first joined John's lab. I think he had been in Johnson Pavilion for 6 months before I joined the lab to run the core facility part of it to help with the peptide synthesis. John is responsible for introducing me to the wonderful world of mass spectrometry and proteins, which has touched most of the projects that these wonderful people have worked on. But more importantly, I had a lab family that came in through the years through John's lab. And most of these people have not changed, but I have very warm memories of working with everybody in the lab, all connected through Complement and mass spectrometry. So with that, happy birthday, John. Thank you for a large portion of my life here in Philadelphia and very fond memories. Thank you.
Happy birthday, John. This is Arvind. We met recently, and I just want to say, John, that whatever I am today is just because of you. It was such a wonderful environment in the lab, and you can see that it's still there. You see, we all are together, and wishing you birthday. So it was wonderful, environment. And when you are happy, you do something interesting, and I guess that's probably why, I could probably identify, Constantine. But I never thought, John, honestly, that this would go anywhere long, right? But then your leadership, your vision, and a lot of people put in so much energy, and that's just because you are full of energy. You put everyone together, and then it got into the clinic. Such a wonderful feeling for all of us, to see that something which we work together on and finally reach the clinic. So thank you so much, John. It's wonderful, and we just want to together thank you. And all I would like to say that when I saw you, you look actually younger than me, John. So whatever you are doing, you are doing fantastic. I think Rodanthi is there to take care. And so keep doing what you're doing, and have a wonderful life. And please keep in touch. I'll just stop there. Happy birthday, John, from me, my son, and Jayati.
And I think that's me, Oriol Sunyer. Hey, John, happy birthday. Where do I start? I called you when you were in Switzerland, and I was supposed to come to Switzerland a week after. You told me, let's go to Philly. And I said, okay, let's go to Philly. I went there for like 3 months. And 3 months turned into 5 years into your lab. I finished my PhD there. I did a postdoc there. And again, like Arvind said, I am scientifically what I am, to a large extent thanks to you. I learned so much there. I mean, I fell in love with proteins. I could purify C3 with my eyes closed. Even on a Saturday night after a long party with a few beers, I would go back to the lab and run the fractions that I had eluded from many, many different columns. And, I still dream about these HPLCs. But, more than learning about all of these things, it was also the great environment in the lab. All of the friends, we were like a group of friends doing science, and what's better than that, right? And now, as you know, I am a professor at the vet school, still doing a lot of protein work, doing a lot of different things, going back to Complement, as you will know one of these days. And just thank you for how you have shaped my future, and how you are shaping, in a way, the future of the people in my lab. So happy birthday, all the best, and see you soon. Bye.
Okay, so that's me now. Also, where do I start? I mean, I still remember like yesterday, the first time I came to your lab for an interview. I was in another lab, and I felt I needed a little bit more work. And then somebody introduced me to you. I came to your office, and I still remember how amazing it was when I first met all the people in the lab and how energized they were. When I joined your lab, I have to say I didn't know much about research. I know you were very patient with me and you taught me so many things. At the time, at least I was a little looking for my way. I was feeling a little bit stressed about the whole situation, but you have been such a great mentor. Now that I have my own lab, I see how wonderfully you run your lab. You taught us so many principles that we need to work with without telling us explicitly, but by the way you run your lab and the way you parted with us afterwards. You taught us how to write papers, how to write grants, and how in general conduct ourselves as scientists. So for this, I'm forever grateful to you and Rodanthe. And I just wanted to wish you the happiest of birthday and all the best for the rest of the future that you have. Okay.
Now it's me, Maria Rosa. I think I also have wonderful memories from the lab. I want to, if I had to put some keywords to our experience there, I would say science, of course, but I would also say family. And I think this is a very important thing that, you know, we were all, most of all foreigners, and we felt at home in the lab. We had fun, but we also learned. And proof of that is that we are all scientists still. We are working in science. And this is one of the things that they always ask you, at least in the Spanish system, what are your students right now doing? And this is proof that you did a very good job with us, John. I'm very thankful. And, you know, when you visited here, Barcelona, I tried to, you know, to tell you this. And I hope you never stop doing science, because we need good scientists. And I think you have both aspects, this knowing how to have fun, which this is another aspect that, you know, many people in our field don't. And I think most of us also learn from you that, and we try to, you know, enjoy life too, and then some sirtakis from time to time. That's very important. And we learned so much, and we are really thankful. So happy birthday. Say hello to Rodanthe from us, and hoping to meet in person all together sometime very soon.
Hi,
Hello
John.
from
Silvia. Hi, John. This is Silvia. I'm very happy to be here today to celebrate your birthday and also your brilliant career. And so, buon compleanno, John. I want to thank you for the opportunity you gave me to be part of your lab. You taught me how good science should be done. You have shown us that great science is not only about results, but about the journey and the people we share it with. So I'm grateful for having met many good friends. Today we celebrate your birthday, but also your achievement, and we celebrate the person you are. So a brilliant science, but also a devoted family man, a friend. So not only good science, but also good life, enjoying good food, good wine, and of course, sirtaki. And I will never forget the Easter time at your place with Rodanthe and your wonderful family, and the fishing trips, of course, for complement proteins. So I wish you too many more years of great discovery and happiness. Ciao, John. A presto. See you soon.
Hi, John. It's a very emotional moment for me. It's been a blessing, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of this great team of colleagues, scientists, and friends. that are part of the Lambris Lab Alumni Association. So it's a very emotional moment for me. I was there in 1998, November, when I landed in the States, first time across the Atlantic, and I found only friends in John's lab, colleagues, technical scientists, postdocs, graduate students, John, Rodanthy, everyone was so helpful in getting me adjusted in the States in a very critical period in my life, because I was trying to transition to my independence in life. So I was fortunate enough to witness the evolution of the compstatin story, your brainchild, John, from the early days with Arvind fishing out the peptide, Athena walking through the mapping of the peptides, binding sites. So I was fortunate enough to be in the lab couple of years after John and Oriol actually made those groundbreaking discoveries about trout complement and its diversification and the evolution of complement. And that was a real paradigm shift. And of course, I will never forget the friendship and collegial feeling that I got with Maciej and Christoph that came later, forming the liver regeneration team and helping out in trying to figure out what the heck complement is doing in C3 and C5 and all the downstream effectors in the liver. So it's been a tremendous honor for me and a privilege to have been on board this long, productive, and thought-stimulating scientific journey with you and the team of the people that are connected with me today and the people that couldn't be connected with us tonight. So I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You changed my life to the better. I have to admit that if it hadn't been for your acquaintance and my stay in the lab, I wouldn't have formed a beautiful family with Alexandra and my beautiful kids, Constantino and Stamati. I owe my entire family life to you, John, not just my scientific career. So thank you so much for your guidance, your long-standing collaboration, your enduring and generous and passionate friendship with you and Rodanthy, and happy 70th and many, many happy returns of the day and to many more successes and discoveries. Bye.
So this is Georgia. Happy birthday, John. So on 15th of July, 2001, I arrived in Philadelphia, and the next day found me at the office of John discussing about my stay, the new projects, about my thesis. And among the other questions, Dr. Lambris asked me, Georgia, do you know how to dance? And I was really perplexed because, and I mumbled something because I didn't know what was the correct answer to this. And I just really wanted to give the correct answer because it was my first day there, right? And I wanted to give the correct answer. And it took me so long time to understand what he meant. And I don't mean that I was dancing while I was running a Western blot or while I was running a complement activation ELISA. What I understood with the years that dancing was a way to feel freedom, to get unstuck from what keeps you on the ground. And what John was really doing, and I was observing him every day, is just to jump high to obtain your goals, lofty goals, and just to excel in what you are doing every day, doing research, answering new questions, and work on different projects. That was dancing for me. That was this is what I was observing him doing every day. So most of us, we are lucky and we have one person or more in our lives that leave a stamp on us. And John, you are this person for me because you are the one who defined what type of scientist I am today. I am here today to wish you happy birthday. And my next recorded message for your birthday is gonna come out on June 2054. So I'm gonna see you all then. Bye.
Hello, I guess it's my turn. My name is Maciej Markiewski. Greetings from hot Texas right now. Hi to John Rodanti and all Aegean conference attendees. I'm pretty sure everybody has fun. These are great scientific meetings. I joined John Lab 2000 and left 2010, so I was there for almost 10 years. I need to admit, I didn't want to do complement research at the beginning. But I think right now, from the perspective of so many years, that this was perhaps the best decision I made in my life in terms of my scientific development. John, thank you for your mentorship. I'm now running my own lab. I have a research laboratory. I'm professor. I'm doing complement research, and I'm studying the role of complement in cancer. And this is happening only because I was there in your lab. I really appreciate everybody who is here. Also, I want to thank you, Dimitris, Christopher, Silvia, Georgia, Athena, and Lynn, because they were together for me there in your lab. Even when I couldn't understand your science language, Dimitris was there to translate this to, layperson summary for me. So it was great time. Thank you also for accommodating my wife there. So coming to your lab was the best decision in my life after marrying my wife, of course. Happy birthday. And we have the saying in Polish that I wish you 100 years and many, many more of productive life in prosperity and health. Thanks a lot.
Right. This is Christoph from Germany, and I'm so impressed about all that I heard now. And I just joining the choir of people who thank you, John, for what you have done in our lives. And I think what is life about? And one of the crucial things you taught me, among many things, is it's about telling stories. You're telling a scientific story, and you're telling a family story, and you're just telling a life story. And you're one of those examples who have so successfully and full of content and with a warm heart designed and generated your own life story. And much more than that, you've also initiated our life stories. And so I think that is one of the big privileges that I can say for myself, that I was able to be part of that story. So thank you very much, John. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.